So Danny, first of all, can I just get your reaction to the FA Cup draw, Portsmouth at home? What do you make of it?
Yeah, very, very pleased. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because some people say you like a so-called lesser team to enable your chances of getting through to round 2 and then round 3 and then who knows. But, you know, hindsight's a great thing. But even before the Chelsea one and then West Brom, I was always a big advocate of getting a big one as early as you can, especially if you're going for promotion like we are. So I think it ticks a lot of boxes. It's a game that we believe we're going to go into it, believing we can win, knowing that we're the underdogs, which makes a nice change. Be an absolutely packed house against a really strong team. Obviously, Gaffer and Gary and a few players got links there as well, so it makes it a little bit more spice maybe to it. And if we win, great. And if we don't, then, you know, we focus on the league. But yeah, we're certainly going into it to try and cause an upset. But it's nice that we're the ones trying to cause an upset for a change.
It'll be a nice measuring stick for you, won't it? Because if things stay the same, it'll be the top of the National League versus top of League One.
Yeah, it will be. And I think, to be fair to John and his team and staff, that they'll certainly know what they're coming into here. With all due respect, you know, we'd like to think ourselves as a league club in terms of our setup and support base, but we're not there because we're in the National League. So we've got to prove we need to be in the league first by winning this one. But yeah, so they'll know it'll be a real tough game. We're hopefully 8, 9, maybe 10,000 crammed in here. And it'll be a tough game for them. Well, we've got to make sure it's a tough game for them. But yeah, make no mistake, we're certainly the underdogs going into it. And like I say, it becomes a bonus game, not for the sort of approach of, oh, if we lose, who cares? We care. We want to win. But to be underdogs does bring a nice change to the normal pressures of the National League fixtures.
Do you just have to park that for a little bit now, just for a couple of weeks, while you focus back on league action then?
Yeah, definitely. It has been parked, to be honest with you. And the boys are that focused, it wasn't even spoken about really on the Monday. Just crack on with training, let's worry about Gateshead. So yeah, good set of lads, very, very grounded. People like Tom and Will Grigg have played in much bigger games than this, so it's just another game for them and for a lot of them, because like I always say to Liam, all our games we get 6, 7, 8,000. So, you know, yes, it's Portsmouth and they're a big club, it's the FA Cup, but they're used to playing in front of big crowds, and our supporters always get behind us, and I'm sure they'll do that again against Portsmouth.
Competition for places is strong anyway, but I imagine with that sort of carrot at the end of the 2 or 3 weeks' time, it'll step it up even more, won't it?
Yeah, but then, you know, you've seen players play really well and then be rested or left out the following week in league games, you know. So the team before we play Pompey, if we win 4-0 and everyone plays great, yes, the manager doesn't really like to change winning teams, but when you've got a squad like us, sometimes it's a necessity. So everyone knows that their place, you know, isn't, they don't take their place for granted, sorry. So yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think with our squad this year and our approach to the season, the players know where the manager and us are coming from each game. They know that anything could happen as each game comes. And as you've seen, you know, you're always going to get questioned a lot, aren't you, if you're making these changes and you're losing. But when you're winning, it sort of goes unnoticed. So all the players understand that anyone can play at any given point. Even the lads who've gone on loan, you know, if they come back, they could come straight in. Who knows? So yeah, you know, it's a great. Everyone will want to play in it. But if we do really well the game before, yeah, no one's going to take their place for granted, as I said.
On to Gateshead tomorrow then. They're, of course, without a permanent manager. Does that change things in any way for you guys?
Not for us, no. I mean, maybe for them, you don't know. I think Rob's got in as caretaker interim, but he's a big part of that football club anyway, Rob Elliott. So I don't think that... I don't think he would change too much, knowing that they're having quite a good season, and he was a big part of how they played anyway. So, yeah, it doesn't change anything for us. For them, I don't know. I'm not inside their camp, obviously, but we know they play a unique style of football, very similar to Notts County last year. Same formation, same way of playing out from the back. By the way, this is pre-Mike Williamson leaving, so that might change. We don't know. And yes, they change personnel here and there, but they're a bit like us. They look to play the same way most games and look to make their plan A better if it's not going too well. So it'll be a really tough game. 2 football teams going at it. I'm sure they'll have a plan to try and beat us, and we've certainly got a plan to try and beat them.
Yeah, it's all set up for a cracking tie, isn't it? Two good footballing sides, and Gateshead are having a good season themselves right up there in the playoffs, aren't they?
Yeah. I think last year there was a time they were right down there, and they fought their way out of it, and also maybe played their way out of it. They would say, it might be a bit disrespectful for me. They played their way out of it, that position, and I'm sure this year their focus is surely on getting in the playoffs. I'm sure their supporters and club as a whole and players are disappointed to lose Mike, but it was always probably going to happen. Because he was playing a certain brand of football that certain clubs like to recruit for, which MK Dons are renowned for that style. So I think that on paper that looks a good fit, but not going on too much about that. We obviously hope there's a poor reaction from them for losing their manager, but I'm not silly enough to think that happened. Players have got pride. They're well drilled in how they play, and I'm sure they'll turn up, even if they had no one in their dugout playing their same way, which will certainly produce a lot of threats for us to deal with.
Do you feel like the players can overcome different challenges? You face more physical sides in Bromley and Boreham Wood, and then you're coming up against a really good footballing side. Do you feel like the lads can mix it either way?
Well, we'll wait and see. I mean, I'd certainly hang me hat on them doing that and put me faith in them doing that. Previous season we've struggled, haven't we, away at places like Boreham Wood and Bromley. And so far so good against those sort of teams, but we've got to play them again yet, so I won't speak too soon. But it'll be a good test for us because it'll be a different type of opposition. Probably Dorking were probably a bit similar with openness and how they play, but obviously Gateshead are higher in the table, so on paper and in reality they're doing a lot better than someone like Dorking. So the best type of that team we played so far, if that makes sense, and it will be a test. It'll be a different type of test. We get after teams, we press, we try and stop that first pass. If we're playing a team a bit more direct, we try and stop that first long ball. Try and keep the ball in their half. So we'll certainly try and keep all the play in our attacking half, but knowing that they're certainly going to have stages. They're going to have waves of attacks. They're going to have a few set pieces, and we have to make sure defensively we've been as good and strong as we have been recently.
And in terms of injury news, how's Joe Quigley getting on?
Yeah, Joe won't be fit for tomorrow. He's had a scan, and sadly we're looking for a couple of weeks for Joe now. I think his ankle's a bit worse than what we all thought and what he first thought, because it actually feels fine for him to walk on, but sometimes until you get out on the grass and twisting and turning with those ankle joints and ligaments, you don't realise how painful or how bad it is and unsettling it is to go on the pitch with that injury, and much you can strap it up. But these days, it's especially with the manager we've got, he likes people to be 100% fit. He doesn't try and force players on the pitch. They're not right, and Joe's not right. So I think at least a couple of weeks, sadly, for Joe Quigley.
How disappointing is that then? Because Joe obviously was, he was hitting form. He's having a good season, wasn't he?
Yeah, really disappointing. But one door closes, another opens. In fact, you saw Harley come on, got a few minutes, didn't he, against Kettering the other day. And I'm sure he'll be involved again tomorrow, as will Grigg. What the team is, I don't know. And like I've always said to you, Liam, if you're going to build a squad, and we all bang on about what good players we've got, at some point you've got to be used, But yeah, Joe's a unique player for what we've got. The only real 6'3" target man we've got. So that's a shame to lose that. But the other two players, centre forwards we've got in terms of Griggy and Harley, bring other qualities that I don't think other teams have got in this league. So yeah, we're disappointed, but we're not going to mope about it. We've got to get on with it and use the good squad we've got to try and get a win tomorrow. Does
Joe's injury mean that you might have to dip into the transfer market just for something short term at least? Possibly.
I think the news we had was yesterday about him with a couple of weeks, and before you know it, we did all our match prep yesterday and we'll do a little tidy up on a few things on Gateshead today. And then obviously the game tomorrow's come very, very thick and fast. So the manager's very keen on the togetherness and the morale of the group, like we all are. I've said to you before, it's a big part of promotions, isn't it? Team spirit and togetherness. We've got a great team spirit. So you're not saying that anyone you bring in disrupts that, not at all. But the rush isn't there, I don't think, this week to do that. We'll see how we get on probably tomorrow and against York. Before we make those decisions, because everyone's in it together in that dressing room. Lads who haven't had a chance might get a chance now, but it's certainly something we'd consider.
And just in terms of the players who are out on loan, Bailey Hobson and Bailey Clements, I think their 1 month loans will be coming to an end shortly. Have you made a decision on whether they'll be coming back or staying out on loan?
Not yet. Discussions have happened sort of flippantly within the office, which you can obviously appreciate. You talk about things like that and before you know it, bang, you've got another game to worry about and plan for, so it's thick and fast. But we've had people watching both Baileys for their time out on loan, and all we've had is good reports back. Myself and Gary, we've watched videos back of the Baileys, and they've done, sounds like a boy band, isn't it, the Baileys, watching them back, and they're doing ever so well, and that's credit to them. But no, we certainly haven't ruled out getting them back after the 28 days, as we haven't ruled out keeping them. The manager sent them out on loan for a reason, to play, to benefit us. More importantly, let's be selfish about it, and them, but mainly us. We want to get them fit and raring to go because they're both good players. So, yeah, it's a possibility we could do either, but probably won't tell you that until the last day of the loan.
Cheers, Danny. Good luck tomorrow.
Top man, Liam. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.